Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Introducing me, Nur Hikmah, student majoring in Office Administration Education 2019, Faculty of Economics, State University of Jakarta. I will present my thesis research proposal entitled The Role of Social Media Use, Knowledge Sharing, and Intrinsic Motivation on the Creativity of Students at SMKN 48 Jakarta. In preparing this thesis, I was guided by Ma'am Susan Febriantina MPD as the first mentoring lecturer and Professor Tuti Sariwulan as the second mentoring lecturer. The background of this research is related to one of the statements by Malik and Al-Ababneh, which states that students' creativity is an important aspect related to their achievement because creativity can increase efficiency and effectiveness in solving problems. Previous research has discussed a lot about creativity, which is considered to have an important role in the advancement of science. The following is an overview of the factors that influence creativity. The percentages in the following figure are the results of pre-research conducted on 30 respondents from SMKN 48 Jakarta students. These results show that knowledge sharing, use of social media, and intrinsic motivation are the most frequently chosen factors. The majority of respondents who are students believe that they have creativity with a percentage of 83%. And these results made me interested in further research regarding creativity in students. Researchers have prepared several questions regarding the problems that will be the focus of this research. First, does the use of social media have an influence on creativity among students? 2. Does knowledge sharing have an influence on the creativity of students? And 3. Does intrinsic motivation have an influence on the creativity of students? And 4. Does intrinsic motivation have an influence on knowledge sharing among students? And 5. Does the use of social media have an influence on knowledge sharing among students? And based on the formulation of questions related to the research problem above, it can be concluded that the objectives to be achieved in this research are: first, to find out about the influence of the social media use on the creativity of students, and 2, to find out about the influence of knowledge sharing on the creativity of SMKN 48 Jakarta students, 3, to find out about the influence of intrinsic motivation on the students' creativity, and 4, to find out about the influence of intrinsic motivation on knowledge sharing of students at SMKN 48 Jakarta. And the last is 5, to find out about the influence of social media use on knowledge sharing of SMKN 48 Jakarta students. Based on supporting theories, creativity is the ability possessed by a person to face a problem by creating unusual solutions and developing or finding new ideas from existing ideas as solutions to problems so that they can become new discoveries in science. Indicators of creativity include fluency, flexibility, originality, and elaboration. The definition of social media based on supporting theory is online media that continues to develop rapidly, which allows its user to carry out various activities or routines such as interacting, communicating, various information and other forms of expression as a form of convenience in living life in society. Indicators of Social media, including time allocation for accessing social media accounts owned, uses or reasons for using social media, positive and intrinsic impacts of using social media. Based on supporting theories, knowledge sharing is the process of obtaining, receiving, and exchanging ideas, informations, skills, or experiences directly or indirectly, which can be done between friends, family, communities, and organizations. Indicators of knowledge sharing include 1. The value of knowledge sources and the willingness of source to share knowledge. 3. The wealth of media communication channels. And 4. The willingness of recipients to absorb knowledge. And the last is the ability of absorptive capability. The definition of intrinsic motivation based on supporting theory is intrinsic motivation is motivation that comes from within a person, which means that a person does not act following external encouragement or other external factors. Indicators of intrinsic motivation include 1. Self-expression, 2. Personal fit, and 3. Personal fulfillment. I have collected relevant research results from 25 journals, and here I show 3 journals which are the main journals of this research. Each journal supports at least 1 to 2 of these research hypotheses. The following map is the theoretical framework of this research. Based on the presentation of the theoretical framework, the researchers formulated a research hypothesis. First is social media use variables influence students' creativity variables. And hypothesis 2, the knowledge sharing variable influences the student creativity variables. Hypothesis 3, intrinsic motivation variables influence student creativity variables. 4. The variable use of intrinsic motivations influences the knowledge sharing variable. 5. The variable use of social media influences knowledge sharing. This research was conducted at SMKN 48 Jakarta from May to November 2023, and this research uses a quantitative approach to obtain primary data with correlational design. The population in this study is all students in SMK Negeri 48 Jakarta for the 2023 to 2024 academic year, the total number of which is not yet known. And this research uses the Haier formula to determine the sample. So the number of indicators is 16 times 10 to obtain a minimum sample size of 160 students from SMKN 48 Jakarta. This research uses data collection techniques sources from primary data obtained by distributing research questionnaires via Google Form. The measurement scale for the questionnaire in this study uses a Likert scale. The answer categories used with the Likert scale in the study consists of a scale of 1 to 5. Data analysis in this study used Smart PLS3 software including instrument tests, descriptive data analysis, statistical data analysis, and hypothesis test. Based on descriptive analysis data of respondents, it is known that the majority of respondents are female, with a percentage of 77.7%. Apart from that, respondents consist of three class levels, dominated by class 10 with 37.5% and office management automation major with 33.7%. Based on the data in the table above, it can be concluded that the largest mean value is found in the MS-12 instrument, with the statement, "Social media inspires me to be more creative," with a score of 4.439. Then, the smallest mean value is found in the MS6 instrument, with the statement, "I have a social media account specifically intended for my personal development," with a score of 3,720. Meanwhile, the largest mean value in the X2 table is found in the key S4 instrument, with the statement, "I don't really care about someone's background when receiving knowledge," with a score of 3.981. Then, the smallest mean value is found in the key S16 instrument, with the statement, "I easily understand knowledge when it relates to me," with a score of 3.011. Based on the data in the table above, it can be concluded that the largest mean value is found in the MI4 instrument, with the statement, "I feel more confident when I am in an environment that suits me," with a score of 4.439. Then, the smallest mean value is in the MI8 instrument, with the statement, "I like challenges that can provide valuable experiences and knowledge," with a score of 4.23. Meanwhile, the largest mean value in the Y table is in the K1 instrument, with the statement, "I am able to remember quickly when someone asks me to tell a story about a long time ago," with a score of 4.345. Then, the smallest mean value is in the K14 instrument, with the statement, "When studying in groups, I tend to accept conclusions without finding out the reasons," with a score of 3.652. The following are the results of the consistency reliability calculation. Consistency reliability consists of two, namely the calculation of Cron-Barches alpha and composite reliability, both of which use criteria greater than 0.7. In addition, the average variance extracted value can also be used as a validity calculation with a criteria greater than 0.5. Based on these results, we can see for ourselves that the data in this study is reliable and valid because it meets the criteria. Based on the calculation results, it is known that the R-square value for knowledge sharing is 0.602, indicating that the use of social media, knowledge sharing, intrinsic motivation, is able to provide an explanation of knowledge sharing for 60.2%. So the model is moderate. Apart from that, the R-square value for creativity is 0.698, indicating that the use of social media, knowledge sharing, intrinsic motivation is able to provide an explanation for creativity of 69.8%. So, the model is medium or moderate. Meanwhile, the results of the F-square calculation concluded that the effect of using social media on creativity was 0.083, which means the effect is weak. The effect of knowledge sharing on creativity is 0.134, which means that the effect is weak. The influence of intrinsic motivation on creativity is 0.166, which means that the effect is moderate. The influence of intrinsic motivation on knowledge sharing is 0.074, which means the effect is weak. The effect of social media on knowledge sharing is 0.393, which means the effect is strong. Based on the results of the past coefficients test above, it is concluded that the results of testing the direct influence of hypothesis 1 show a value of 3.292 greater than 1.96 and a p-values of 0.00 greater than 0.05. This proves that the use of social media has a direct and significant effect on creativity. Then, the results of testing the direct effect of hypothesis 2 show a t-statistic value of 4.468 greater than 1.96 and a p-values of 0.000 less than 0.05. This proves that knowledge sharing has a direct and significant effect on creativity. Furthermore, the results of testing the direct effect of hypothesis 3 show a t-statistic value of 4.647 greater than 1.96 and a p-values of 0.00 lesser than 0.05. This proves that intrinsic motivation has a significant direct effect on creativity. Then, the results of testing the direct effect of hypothesis 4 show a t-statistic value of 4.597 greater than 1.96 and a p-values of 0.000 lesser than 0.05. This proves that intrinsic motivation has a significant direct effect on knowledge sharing. The results of testing the direct influence of hypothesis 5 show a t-statistic value of 8.648 greater than 1.96 and a p-values of 0.00 lesser than 0.05. This proves that the use of social media has a direct and significant effect on knowledge sharing. The results of this research also support the findings of previous research conducted by Gulzar, 2021, Malik 2022, and Rashid 2020, which found that there was a positive and significant influence between the use of social media on student creativity, which supports hypothesis 1. And then Suwanti 2019, Tuan 2020, Jin and Suntrayu 2022, Bati 2021, and Arif 2019 found that there is a positive and significant influence between knowledge sharing on students' creativity. And then Wang 2022, Tang 2020, Du 2019, and Suwanti 2019 found that there is a positive and significant influence between intrinsic motivation and student creativity. And then Hossein 2021, Zhang 2021, Hassan and Din 2019, and Mansur Jaharuddin 2020 found that there is a positive and significant influence between intrinsic motivation and knowledge sharing. And the last, Hossein 2022, Zhao 2020, Zhang 2021, Chui 2020, and Chatterjee 2020 found that there is a positive and significant influence between the use of social media on knowledge sharing. The conclusion of this research is use of social media has a direct positive and significant influence on creativity, and knowledge sharing has a direct positive and significant influence on creativity. Intrinsic motivation has a direct positive and significant influence on creativity. Intrinsic motivation has a direct positive and significant influence on knowledge sharing. And the last hypothesis is use of social media has a direct positive and significant influence on knowledge sharing. And that's all the presentation of my research proposal. Thank you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.